So I have a camping trip coming up and I have to paddle across a lake.
Row, row, row your boat gently across the lake.
But the only problem is I don't have a boat, so let's see what we can do to make one.
Merrily, 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 this is a piece of cake.
The challenge today is to get myself across this lake to a campsite with this backpack, which is pretty heavy, and a few extra pieces of gear. I don't have a boat, so I'm just going to use this little pile of stuff right in front of me. Can we make it happen? I think so. Let's give it our best shot. It's going to be more like a makeshift raft, using materials I have around the house and some stuff I got at Lowe's. Now, I did draw this out on paper first, so there's about 10 minutes of thought that went into this. Basically, what I'm going to do first is lay these PVC pipes out into the basic shape I want them to be in. This is going to be about 4 feet wide and 6 feet long. And I'm going to have braces going across this way. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm going to use one of these panels that I made for hanging my tools in the garage. And that's what I'm going to be able to sit on to navigate this thing. So the first thing I want to do is measure 2 of these PVC pipes to the 6-foot mark. I wonder if a pipe cutter will work on PVC. I don't see why not. I actually want to cut this 6-foot piece into 3 2-foot sections and use connectors so that I can have cross beams going this way. Okay, 2 feet. This stuff is inexpensive, so that's a good thing about it. It's even less than electrical conduit, so that's why I chose PVC. I want this to come apart and be more transportable. I don't want it all glued together. I want to be able to fit it into my little rice burner car. Just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like, I'll dry fit these pieces together if I can. So I'll have two cross beams, and at the ends, the 90-degree elbows. They're pretty tight fitting already, but we're going to make them even tighter just in case. We don't want any mishaps while we're out in the middle of the lake. We don't want any mishaps. So I've got the 2 end pieces put together, dry fitted together, and now I'm going to attach these cross beams or cross sections. And you can see it's starting to come together. I actually bought 4 10-foot lengths of PVC, but only needed 3. And I have a 2-foot section left over. And another thing that I'm thinking about is, why not use the pipe cement on, at least on these 2 ends? And then when I get to the lake, all I have to do is put these cross sections in place. There, and now we have the frame of the raft complete. And that only took, what, 15, 20 minutes? Uh-oh, it's a little too small. I don't know if you can tell, but the vessel looks smaller now. And the reason is, number one, because this piece of plywood, I wanted to fit completely over the PVC that it would be attached to, so that I could get some screws to come up through the PVC and attach to the plywood with some wing nuts to screw it down. That was my dad's idea, the wing nuts. Great idea. So in order to make that happen, so that this would rest completely over the PVC on all 4 edges, I had to trim the middle pieces here to let me check my book here, 21.5 inches. So I took it out of the couplings or the connectors, and made them 21.5 inches wide. Now over here, on the ends, I trimmed these to 14 inches. So on all four of them are 14 inches. And the reason for that is so that instead of having 2 feet, I have 14 inches so that the trash bag that's filled with air doesn't just pop right out. I want it to be braced and kind of pressured down a little bit. So that's the reason for that. We'll see if that's enough, I'm not sure. And the other thing I did was shorten the length of these 4 cross sections to 45.75 inches. And that basically so I could get the plywood to fit completely over the PVC. So if you're going to build this and you're trying to follow along, I wanted to provide those details. If you don't care, then sorry to waste your time. See how that completely covers the PVC underneath? So now what I'm going to do is take this contractor size trash bag. I'm not sure how many gallons it is because I bought it years ago. I think the standard size is 42 gallons. But anyway, I'll open this up. Get some air through there. Nice windy day, kind of. Close it up. So now I have a pocket full of air. I probably don't want it to be too tight. I want there to be a little flexibility. And then I'll just twist that as tight as I can, and then take a zip tie. And I'm going to have 2 of these. One will go on this side, and you see how that's kind of in the middle. I think we're losing air. Then we'll take this one, stick that in there. Let's try that one more time. All right, that's not going anywhere. There. Now I'm going to take this bungee cord. It loops right on that PVC, almost as if it was designed for that. Look at that. There. Now, who in their right minds wouldn't trust their lives with that? I decided to have some diagonals on this. So instead of returning one of these PVC pipes, I had to buy another one. And I want them to go across like this, but underneath. I also bought some pipe cement for the side pieces, and I think this will give it more stability. So the first thing I want to do is measure from corner to corner. You twist this a little bit to the right after every revolution. So now the triangles are cut out. I'm going to flatten the ends of each one of these so it'll sit flat against there, and I'll make sure there's nothing abrasive that could cut the bag. On this PVC pipe, there are some letters stamped, letters and numbers. So I'm just going to take the middle of that line of lettering and make a mark on both ends so that when I press them together, they will both be pressed flat at the same place. So now I'm going to take this heat gun, put it on 2, which is the high heat level, and I'm just going to move this pipe around as I heat it. And once it turns yellow, I'll stick it in the vise to flatten it. Okay. Now I'll find the red mark. Okay. And I'll let that set for a few seconds. So now I'm just gonna use some denatured alcohol that I poured on this paper towel and clean these connectors. It's got some grass in there. Okay. Then we'll take some purple primer, PVC, some kind of PVC cement. Oh, what? How do you open this thing? Oh, wow. Whoa. That was not easy. Let's see. Put some on the inside there. Put some on the outside here and on the end, I guess. Fit it in place. All the glue has dried, and now I'm going to drill some holes. I assembled it all together, just dry fitted. Of course, these two lengths are glued in place. Hopefully they won't come out in the water. And now these cross pieces are just dry fitted in place, and I'm going to drill some holes to put some screws and fasten them all together with wing nuts. This is going to be the bottom where the trash bags will be, so I'm going to put it through this way, through there, and then the top part will have the wing nut. I'm going to have to be out in the sun for this part, just so the whole thing can lay as flat as possible. And I pre-drilled through the PVC, and now I'm going to drill through the PVC again into and through the plywood, so I can get a screw all the way through. All right, the frame is complete and it's assembled. So I'm going to have, at least the plan is to have 2 trash bags filled with air here, 2 trash bags filled with air here, and 2 here. That one's done. That was easy. Where's my easy button? My wife gave me a little pair of cutters. I'll show you. If I used a knife, I might cut the bag. But with this, I think I can just snip that zip tie without cutting into the bag. So the stem goes up and around, and I zip tied both of them together. I don't hear any air leaking. All right, I guess we'll start over here. So first we'll loop it under there. Then it'll go over the bag, kind of in the middle. It'll go around the PVC on this side. And then back around this PVC. We're ready to go. Look how light this is. Wow. I can lift that up very easily. Place that in the water. And here's the moment of truth. Give it. I think we're ready. Yeah, so looks like between 86 and 95 inches is standard for a kayak oar. And since this PVC is not really rigid, it's somewhat flexible, I'm gonna go for about 90 inches. Well, we'll go with that for now. I don't know if this is gonna work. I haven't tried it before. So we're on this journey together. Seems like there's plenty of time to work with this, to flatten it. You kind of have to wait and let it cool a bit. So let's do the same thing on the other side down there. All right, I found that if I use this knife, this utility knife, I can actually cut through this plastic, and it's just a lid from an old tote bin. Seems, at least it seems kind of sturdy, so I thought I'd give that a try. And I can outline it in pencil, go over it with marker, and cut it with the utility knife. And the other thing I was thinking, what can I use to trace a paddle shape? And then I found this shovel in the garage, and it looks like I could fit two on here. So let's outline one of them. Maybe I should put it like that. There, a work of art. Might have been better to heat this up, I'm not sure. Would have been softer, but we're almost done. All right, now that we have the piece cut out, I want to make it somewhat concave, because if you look at other paddles, they have a little bit of a curvature. So I figured I'll just stick it right here on the shovel, heat it up, and press it in with these pliers. Just hold that for a moment. Yeah, there's a little bit of a concave. Now for the oar, this is a little bit concave, so I thought I'd put it on there like that, kind of like a shovel. And now, I want to attach the oar to the paddle, the oar handle to the paddle. And here's the finished product. I have 2 tie wraps and 2 screws with washers on that side and lock nut washers on this side, and those are the ties. So it's a little concave here, so I can catch the water at a good angle, and the other side will be bowed exactly the same. The paddle is done. There's just one more thing I want to add. Let me get it. An umbrella. I was looking through the garage to see what I had that I could use to mount this, and I have a piece of firewood, some kind of hardwood, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just use this hole saw, kind of make a little mini dowel that this would fit over. I could mount this to the plywood base on the raft. And then I was thinking I could, if I soften this up, maybe I could cut some lines and bend out some tabs to secure it to the platform. There. Yeah, it worked. These are pliable, but I don't know if I can lay them flat. I need to soften it a little bit more. Come on. All right. Now, if I just hold this for a little bit, it should harden. So I've got a 1/4 inch screw coming up through the bottom with a wing nut and a washer. And I positioned it so I'm thinking it's not going to be in the way of my gear or my rowing. We'll see. I know it's not in the middle, it's on one side. And now that's pretty sturdy. I might not even need any additional support, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. And now I'm just going to drill some holes. All right, I got all 4 wing nuts in place. And the umbrella fits in there. That's pretty sturdy. I mean, it wobbles a little bit in there, but that's no big deal. And I'm going to have 2 positions. I'm going to have the one that's really low, but if I need more headroom, I'll have this higher position. So I've got this 3-inch screw with the washer and a zip tie. And now that fits through. And now we can try it out.